Good evening and welcome to SAFC Fan TV. And yes, we are early for this edition of the Sunday Bunch Live. Of course, the reason being, MK Dons play Wickham. They kick off at 6:30. So we thought we'd do this and get this out of the way. Then people can tune in to see who hopefully our opponents will be at Wembley in a couple of weeks' time. Joining me tonight, we have young Jack Dodds. Jack, how's your day been?
It's not been bad, Phil. Not done a great deal. Just sort of lounging in the house, but, ready to talk about Sunderland as always.
All right. We're also joined by our resident Daft C, the Mad Mistake. How's your day been?
It's been all right. Not as hectic as yesterday, but been off for a steady walk and a little bit of food at Wetherspoon. So, Kenny?
All right. And Jack Dodds, we just off air there was saying is looking very like Alex Pritchard today. Jack Shields, how's your day been?
Yeah, not too bad. I haven't really done anything at all, to be fair. Like just watching the football and looking forward to a big crack about Sunderland as always.
Do you not mean Jack Shields in there, Philly? I don't think I've got any sort of resemblance to Alex Pritchard yet.
Right, no. You can't even grow a beard, Jack. Not yet.
No, exactly.
Just very quickly, we are live, which means you can have your say via the live chat if you want to join in, especially if you're a follower of Sheffield Wednesday. We'd like to get your views as well. Already on there, Ian Curry's there, David Walker, Last Farmers, Mackham as always, Dan Robinson. Ken Hartley says, Sunderland supporter working and living in Bahrain, loving the crap, lads. Hope he's booking a flight to London tomorrow night. Come on, hope you are as well. Mickey Stewart there, Robert Foster are all in the chat if you want to have your say. We're at the halfway point then. Friday night, a 1-0 win. Overall performance, Jack Shields?
Yeah, I thought we were very, very good. Played excellently well. Created chances. We played at a good tempo, good energy. I thought we fed off the crowd. I thought the crowd in spells for the 90 minutes were excellent. Best atmosphere we've had at the Stadium of Light since probably the Sam Allardyce Everton game. I thought, when was that, six years ago? So absolutely fantastic. I thought we had several players that stood out. I thought Bailey Wright had an excellent game. Luke O'Nien had a very good game. Ross Stewart played very, very well up front, holding the line. Everyone put a shift in, 7 or 8 out of 10. The only slight thing for me, slight disappointment, was that we're only taking a 1-goal lead into Hillsborough tomorrow. I thought we were very good value to win that 2-0. I thought 2-0 would have been a fair reflection of the game. And I don't think any Sheffield Wednesday fan could have really argued if they'd lost that 2-0. So that's the only slight negative. But I would have taken 1-0 before the game. Any advantage going into tomorrow night was welcomed and sets it up nicely for a nervy game tomorrow.
Right, fair enough. I do understand my connection seems a little bit ropey for some reason. So apologies for that. We'll try and get that sorted as we go on. Conrad Tank says, playoff beard. Is it a playoff beard there, Jack?
Well, I think we haven't lost since I shaved, so I don't want to tempt it, you know what I mean? And shave now, and then we'll lose tomorrow, and then it's my fault type of thing. So I might just keep
it. Sorry, won't like that. I've been wearing my orange rope. We haven't lost since wearing my orange watch that, and I won't change it because it'll be my fault. Sorry.
So, Jack, have you not shaved in 14 matches?
No, to be fair, it was going before then, but if it comes off now and we lose tomorrow night, it's like, it wouldn't be my fault. So.
If I didn't shave for 40 matches, I'd look like Flynn Williams' story. Anyway, so Elliot Alderson says, I'm bricking it for tomorrow. We'll get everybody's feelings on that and see how they are. Emma Hansen, friend of the show, has just actually left my house as well. So she's watching probably on her way back driving. Terry, overall performance on Friday?
Yeah, I was really impressed with the performance from the start to the end. I thought it was a very good all-round team performance. My man of the match, I thought at the time, on the night, was Corey Evans. I thought Bailey Wright played exceptionally well. I thought Gooch, again, another good game. I thought I never saw the goal that got back in because I was on the other side and I watched it on Sky Sports. And Stewart took it well, even though the keeper did make a good save. He managed to get the rebound in. So 1-0. I'm disappointed with the result actually, as a score line, because I would like to get 2 or 3. But at the start of the game, at the start of the day, any win was absolutely welcome to take down to Hillsborough. So I'm over the moon with the performance. I thought we, when you're in a crowd with 44,000 fantastic fans, every little sort of bit of action that happens is sort of exaggerated. The emotions are exaggerated, and I thought Hillsborough. I saw Sheffield at Hillsborough would be different opposition, but I thought on Friday they didn't really sort of give that much. We weren't really. So I thought they had 1 or 2 more chances than they did, but when I watched the match back, we were never really problemed. I thought we controlled the game well. They never looked like scoring, and to be everything but the 1-0 result was absolutely fantastic. So like Jack said, another couple of goals or even another goal would have been amazing. But if we can do the same again down Hillsborough, which would be a massive ask, I mean, that would be fantastic. So yeah, I was over the moon. I thought the crowd was exceptionally brilliant. Like, 44,000 fans. I saw the cat's eyes and the red and white stripes and the south end. I thought it was all brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, superb atmosphere down there. And yeah, was maybe unlucky not. I mean, that spell we had just at the start of the second half, where we bombarded them. But we got a win. That's the main thing. Jack Dodds, overall performance then on Friday.
No, I thought it was really good, especially the sort of first 15, 20 minutes. I thought we played really well on the front foot. I think after then, Sheffield Wednesday sort of did well, slow the game down and played at a pace that they preferred. I think they wanted it to get a draw really and just keep a clean sheet. And then they weren't too far off doing that, obviously. To be honest, I think that the only thing I would say is that we could have had a few more. I mean, going down there with a 1-goal advantage, it's better than nothing. But I just think we could have maybe had a 2 or 3 one really. But yeah, I thought it was a really strong performance. Probably in terms of the whole team, I think there was only really Clark for me that I thought was poor. Everyone else was probably sort of a 7 out of 10 minimum. So yeah, really good. And I just, as a team in general, I just thought we clicked so well and just controlled things really well.
Yeah, fair enough. Just very quickly, don't forget, of course, if you are watching, give us a thumbs up. We like to try and hit 100 likes if we can on a Sunday. Already on 36 there. Just hit the thumbs up. Take a second to do that. And more importantly, if you're watching and you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe. It's free to do so, and it'll only take a second, and it will help the channel out. Atmosphere then, superb atmosphere. Couldn't have asked for better. The fans once again delivered. Over 44,000 there. Great atmosphere. Nice to see the ground like that again. Your thoughts on it, Terry? Good to see. Do you think it definitely helped us, getting behind the team like that?
Oh yes, definitely pushed the boat out for that match, didn't we? I mean, everything about the whole atmosphere, the whole scenario I thought was 10 out of 10. Absolutely 10 out of 10. I thought, just the whole occasion was brilliant, and we didn't bottle it. We didn't underperform. We performed on the night, and every player to a man turned up and put a shift in, which you want to see. And Alex Neil, in his interview today, he was saying about, someone said it's not his team, but he says it is my team. I know I'm the gaffer. They're all my team. They're all pulling all the stops. They all want to play well for me, for the fans, for the club. So that they're all singing off the same hymn sheet. So I thought the whole night itself, the fans didn't let the team down. The team didn't let the fans down. It's always an out sort of 9.5, 10 out of 10 performance.
Yeah, fair enough. On the chat, just very quickly, Ballum says 1-1 draw on the night. We'll mean a 2-1 aggregate for Sunderland is what he's predicting for down there. Doug B says fan of 09, but don't like him playing in the back line. Jack Dodds, young Jack, was you in there early to get the full experience?
I was in there at just before 5:30.
Yeah, right. And your thoughts on it? Are you impressed?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since sort of, I think, in terms of like an atmosphere or something that's happened between fans. I've witnessed at a Sunderland game and really thought that was quite special, something to remember. To be honest, the last sort of year or so, I think in terms of the whole atmosphere and fan engagement, I'm starting to feel sort of more and more disengaged with it as it goes on. Especially this season, there's just been a lot of times when, like, sort of the last sort of 20, 30 minutes of the game, you stood there just going, don't even really want to be here, to be honest. But it was really special to be a part of. Actually, it gave us a few goosebumps, like especially when all the fans were singing "Baby, I'm Ready to Go." It was sort of like a quite a spontaneous thing. Really, wasn't planned or anything, but everyone just sort of sung along with it, and I thought that was really good. Obviously, I was part of the red and white stand, but then when you look at it from the other sides of the stadium, it looked really good. And the cat's eyes, although initially when they put it on Twitter, I had absolutely no idea what it was meant to be. I thought that actually looked really good and had a really good impact as well. So yeah, and it's just those small little things, isn't it, for the big occasions, to try and sort of just do absolutely everything you can to make the most of that home advantage.
Had you experienced that sort of thing before? Because I know I'm not being
ages.
Well, no, I'm just, but you're not very old, so I mean, had you, those days, when we had, under Peter Reid and that, and we was getting full houses every week and stuff like that, or more or less. Was that your first real experience of it?
I mean, not quite. I mean, I think I've still experienced it a full stadium like a few times, but it's always in the been when we've got sort of like Man United or Arsenal, Liverpool, something like that coming to town, and obviously we've not played them in years. Up particularly when we've got a derby, we're playing the Mags, and obviously that you get the red and white stadium, everyone holding up the bits of cardboard there. But obviously none of those things that have happened for a long time, and it just sort of felt as if like we're back to where we sort of meant to be, where those types of crowds and that type of sort of aesthetic, should be happening fairly regularly.
Right, fair enough. Topsy T83 on the chat says 1-1 tomorrow night, lads. 2-1, and the final is ours this season. Ian Curry says 2-0 or 2-1 for us. Everybody chucking their predictions in. Jack Shields, did you get nice and early? Did you get the full experience?
I didn't actually. I'm going to get pelters. I missed it. I didn't get in until 2 or 3 minutes in. So you can give us a bit of stick for not being in early. But it looked great. I mean, anything that helps the team. I thought it reminded us of a bit of a derby day atmosphere. I felt on Friday. It was a bit like we were playing Newcastle in terms of, I thought it was a bit hostile, which I don't know what the people in the chat, but I quite like the stadium. I like when it's like that because it should be. We're passionate people, we're passionate football fans, not just big in numbers, but big in our hearts and the way that we follow the team. We all love the football club, and I think it really made it difficult for Sheffield Wednesday. I thought that the atmosphere and the hostility and the kind of, I don't want to say nastiness, but you know what I mean, that kind of attitude that the fans showed helped the team. I felt from the off, and when it did go a little bit flat, the crowd kept going, and I think the only time it started to dip, luckily, we had the 5 minutes before the half-time whistle, and we got the goal, which kept us going in the second half. And then in the second half, I thought we played the best football, actually, from about 45 minutes to around about 65, 70. I thought the only time it went a little bit nervy was towards the end, last 15 minutes, when Sheffield Wednesday started to put a little bit of pressure on. And the fact we only had the one goal, I felt there was a little bit of nervousness in the crowd, but I think it was just because typical, we all had it in our heads, probably typical Sunderland here. Do you know what I mean? We battered them for 75 minutes, and yet Sheffield Wednesday are going to come out and get an equaliser and scrape the draw, which thankfully they didn't do, because it would have been a huge injustice if they hadn't won the game, given how on top we were. But I thought it was a throwback, like you say, to Everton under Big Sam. That reminded us that the last real atmosphere we had like that, or a derby day atmosphere when we're playing Newcastle, and it's hostile and it would make it difficult for teams. And 45,000 at this level, I don't think it gets the credit. Fans don't get the credit we deserve. We've had some tough times over the last few years, haven't we? So it was just excellent to see. And as Jack touched on, ready to go, coming out the tunnel was like being back in the 90s under Peter Reid, wasn't it?
Yeah. Right. Just very quickly, once again, apologies for the quality of my camera on it. I've swapped cameras since.
It looks so much better like that, man.
Yeah, and it's not doing the job. I'll have to swap back again. But so apologies for that. Just very quickly back on the chat there. Where was we at? Jono84 says, who remembers the Sheffield United playoff semi-final? That atmosphere was the best at the stadium of light. Also, Peter Solkeld says we have to keep Sheffield Wednesday quiet for the first 20 minutes. They'll come out flying tomorrow night. Just very quickly before we do go back onto that game, there was a lot of people complaining about these supporters or where they've been all season. All of a sudden they're coming out. 44,000 there. You should have been there all season. Did that bother you, Terry?
No, not really. I mean, the bus I get down, the supporters branch bus, was a double-decker bus. Normally, it's we've had a minibus on a couple of occasions during the week, and normally it's a normal-sized bus, and that's never packed. But this double-decker bus was packed out, But at the end of the day, everyone's got their opinions and choices, what they do in life, and I've got no qualms at all. If somebody wants to come along to any game they want, it doesn't bother me one single bit.
Jack Shields, did it bother you? I mean, you're there home and away and everything, and then all of a sudden you've got all these fans turning up.
No, not really. It doesn't really bother us because, as Terry's touched on, you're entitled to spend your money how you want. So I think it would be better if more fans did come down to the stadium. But I'm not one of these that's like has a go at people for turning up, because ultimately I don't think you can knock I'm calling a 45,000. I know it was a stone throw off that, but you can't knock a 45,000 crowd at this level. So, I mean, it would be ideal if we had that every week, but realistically, it's not going to happen. There's a lot of supporters. We lost a lot of fans in the 2 relegations. A lot of people got disillusioned with Sunderland AFC, and it's hard to blame, because sometimes I come out of the game and think, didn't really enjoy that, or it's a bit of a chore getting up for away games and things like that. So hopefully, though, a promotion will get a few back, and maybe if we are in the Championship next season, maybe push for 35 or 40,000 a bit more often.
Just very quickly on the chat there, Conrad Tank says Sheffield Wednesday are too passive for their own good. They were lucky to lose by just one. Very own Michael Bowers is on there. Hi, Michael. 1-1 draw for me. He's saying tomorrow Sheffield Wednesday will definitely come out flying, but they are suspect defensively, apparently. So we'll press at the right moments. We can increase the pressure on their players. Mad Max saying, any of you guys got tickets for tomorrow? I know the 2 Jacks there have managed to get tickets. Me and Terry, the old guys, have not. Jack, these extra supporters coming out of the woodwork, did it bother you?
Not really, no. I don't know. I just feel it's sort of, even I felt a little bit disengaged with the club as the seasons went on and on. Just sort of putting up with the disappointing bad results, and let's be fair, the dire football that sometimes gets displayed at this level. So I can completely understand why when someone's been to work all week, or rather something has to maybe even take time off work to get to the match, or have got families and would rather spend time with them. I do totally get it, to be honest. It's been absolutely awful sort of 4 or 5 years for Sunderland fans, really, and I think we've sort of actually done quite well, if anything, to maintain sort of just under 30,000 still. That will keep going down, I think, if it does keep sort of disappointing. I can see what people are saying in terms of if you've had the commitment all season, and I do think sort of the more committed fans should be prioritised more down to the sort of the least ones. But personally, I just think, there might have only been someone's, first or second game all season, but in the same breath, tickets are only 20 quid. You don't know the financial situation. That's probably the first game that's been on a Friday night for a long time. People might have sort of, different sort of working schedules. So, no, not really. I can kind of see what people are saying, but personally, I just think the football is so poor now, where sometimes going to the match just isn't really a commitment that people want to make. All the time.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I saw people saying, where have you been all season, all that. I couldn't give a monkeys. I think the fact that they've come out when the club needs them, they're there. It doesn't, just because you don't go to the game, it doesn't make you any less of a supporter. We've all been, at some point, you've had different levels of passion. I've done the home and away bits and all that, and circumstances change. You can't always do that. On the chat there, Elliot Alderson says it's an hour away for him to get to the stadium, and he works more Saturdays. He'd love to come more often. People have got other commitments. Also, prices helped, £20 and £10 and things like that as well. All right, so we've got a 1-goal lead then going into tomorrow night. Is 1 goal going to be enough, Jack Shields?
Well, you could look at it really simply and say we won on Friday and now we just need a draw. You know what I mean? I think that maybe is a bit too simple way of looking at it, but ultimately any draw on Monday will do 0-0, 1-1, 2-2. I think one thing that will happen is, though, they're going to come flying out the traps in the first 20 minutes on Monday, aren't they? The atmosphere, as good as our atmosphere was on Friday, I think we're going to get that in return. Sheffield Wednesday are going to be bang up for that tomorrow. Tomorrow. And I think we need to weather the storm early on. You know what they're going to throw at us first 15 or 20 minutes. So I think if we can build into the game, I think we stand a great chance. But I just worry we get overrun in the first 10 or 15 minutes. We concede early and then their tails are up. So I think it's an advantage. Don't get me wrong. I'll be very, very confident if we've got a second goal, if we were taking the 2-0 advantage, because the way that we're playing under Alex Neil, we're not conceding many goals. We're not conceding many chances. I mean, I know we had the Shrewsbury game where we conceded 2 recently, but other than that, we've been conceding, very few chances and goals. So if we'd had a 2-goal lead, I'd be very confident. But it's still an advantage, but we've got to keep it tight early on, I think, build into the game.
Well, I'd be very surprised if Alex Neil doesn't have them prepared for that. I think they'll know full well that they're going to come out the traps flying, and I'm sure he'll have them prepared and ready for that. Just very quick on the chat. This is a good idea. Jeff says, Wincy's Bar tomorrow night. Be there, be square. Do you want to go on the phone to Wincy? Terry, I mean, these two are going down to Sheffield, but we could be round at Wincy's and watching it round there. Young Jack, 1 goal. Is that going to be enough?
I mean, obviously, an advantage is an advantage, but I felt as if there was 1 goal in it for us, if we win by 1 goal, it's probably an okay result for both teams, really. I mean, obviously, for ourselves, like Jack said, all we need to do is sort of go and draw there. If we manage to keep a clean sheet, or alternatively get 1 goal, I am fairly clean sheet I confirm, obviously, but I am fairly confident, even with sort of one early goal down there, it'd be very difficult for them to turn around then. But I just feel like they could sort of look at it and go, well, there's only 1 goal in, now they've got their home leg. I think Sheffield Wednesday looked really nervy in the first opening 15, 20 minutes, and then I think they settled down on Friday night, and I think that was possibly in part, but probably largely due to the atmosphere, I think. That we had a bit of a lift. So, I mean, I would have really liked to see a 2 or 3-1, because it would have really confirmed it for me, but in the same breath, you've just sort of think, what can you really ask for? And like I say, it's probably an okay result for both sides, really.
Right, fair enough. Just very quickly, back to the chat. SAFC Nashi says, I've got a season ticket, only been able to make 2 home games and 5 away this year, but watched every game online as I work away. Does that make me any less of a fan? Absolutely not. Even people who don't go, you support Sunderland. People's circumstances are different, and this is what I don't like to hear when people say, oh, well, I travel every away game, I go home and away, I'm more of a fan than you are. It's an absolute load of bollocks that, you support the team, and we're all Sunderland fans. We all want the same thing, regardless whether you go every week or you don't go at all. We all want a successful Sunderland team, simple as. Terry, 1 goal, a 1-goal lead, is that going to be enough for us?
Yes, simple words, yes. Why should it be any different tomorrow night at Hillsborough? People say because Sheffield Wednesday are going to cop the traps and go for it straight away. Then why didn't they do it on Friday night? They didn't perform brilliantly well on Friday night, so why would they make them any difference at home? Yes, they've got a great home record. Yes, they've got a great set of fans behind them. But Alex Neil and the team will be up for their game exactly the same as Sheffield Wednesday. And if we play the same game as we played on Friday night, I have no doubt in my mind that we will get through to this result. But you can't legislate for slip-ups, mistakes, and dodgy referees. So we've got to make sure we keep a clean sheet if possible. And, a draw is good enough, but, I just fancy us to sneak it. I do.
Right. Fair enough. Just very quickly back to the chat. Doug B says, trying to find a flight over to Wincy's tomorrow. He's saying that there. And also Mick Griffith says, can I pick him up on Fulham Road if we're going to Wincy's Bar? So it's going to be full Wincy's if you're on the phone. We'll all be down there on it. Me personally, I just think I think the pressure's on them now. You know, they have to score a goal. It's as simple as that. And I think I can see us nicking one. So I'm fairly confident for that. But do we sit back? Do we go for them, young Jack?
I think a moderation of both. I wouldn't want us. I'm not a fan of sort of sitting back, literally on our own edge of our own box for 90 minutes. But in the same breath, I think if we overcommit and we sort of leave a few gaps at the back, they will get exploited and will concede. Personally, I would just sort of look to sort of match sort of what it is they do. Pack out the midfield quite a lot, really. Probably put quite a physical team out there, quite an experienced one as well, probably as well. Favour a few of the older lads, I think, really. And just sort of, I don't look to whatever is there, do sort of nullify it. I wouldn't sit back in their drawn box and I wouldn't be sort of flying forward as if we've got nothing to lose. I think this is where Alex Neil, this is where the experienced lads to me sort of really earn the money.
Right, fair enough. I mean, I'm fingers crossed for Wembley, but seeing as my wife's out walking Colin at the moment, so won't hear this because I've not told her anyway. A friend of mine who's a massive Rangers fan was speaking to us last night and said, I've got a ticket for you to go to Seville for the Rangers final, which happens to be on the Wednesday before we get if we end up at Wembley. So I'll be wanting to go to that. So I'll be like Seville coming back and then straight there to Wembley. But I've not dared ask our lass. I've not dared mention to our lass yet. But we'll see.
Possible divorce in between.
Why, you know, I mean, I couldn't believe it when he said there's a ticket there for you. He said if you want it. So but we'll see. Rough as a Badger says Wincy's Tavern will be rocking tomorrow. I hope he's stocked up on the scampi fries. Conrad Tank Wincy's bar looks awesome. I will look at the SAS schedule. Terry, do we sit back? Do we actually have we got to go for it? Is that our best way?
I would just not change what we did from Friday night. Keep the same game plan. You don't want to be sitting back in your own half and soaking up pressure. You know what I mean? You want to, play the same game as you did on Friday night, where you got the same team, probably the same team, the same. You know, there's only 2 days in between, but the same for both sets of players. And I think, you know, the Sheffield Wednesday having to travel back on the Friday night was sort of one less night's probably decent sleep, I would have thought. So I think they'd be more tired, to be honest, this game than us. With all the travelling they're doing, we'll go down probably this afternoon after a good lie-in this morning, get out to the hotel, have a nice good night's sleep tomorrow night. So there's no excuses. I think just play the same game, play your own game plan. You don't go gun-ho, of course, and you don't sit back like Jack says. You want a little bit of both, a bit of sort of, I say, just don't change your game plan for a different game.
Right, fair enough. We'll be fresher, seeing as they'll be out on the town drinking tight. Tam says, sit back, get banged. Emma says we need to go for it. If we sit back, we'll concede goals. I'd hate to see us being sat back. I'd like to think we're going to go for it. Jack Shields, your thoughts on it? Sitting back, or do we actually go for another goal?
Well, I think it's crucial we get through the first period in the game, and I think once we do that, I think you'll find that we get on the ball a little bit like we do, and I think we can keep them at bay. I think Sheffield Wednesday will be better. I don't think they played well at all on Friday, so I expect them to play. Not just the fact they're at home. I just think they didn't play that well. I think they'll be improved on Monday. I don't think they'll play as poorly again as they did on Friday. So I think they'll be better, which means we'll have to be a bit more cautious. But that doesn't mean we can't get on the ball. That doesn't mean we can't create chances, as Terry said, and play. You know, when we're on the front foot, play as much as we can, like we did on Friday, trying to create chances and put passes together and get in the final third. So no, I don't think park the bus, but I think we need to stay disciplined, make sure we don't lose our rag and, you know, get a man sent up or anything like that. But, you know, I think it is crucial we build into the game. So I think if they, you know, like you say, if we concede early on, that could be a tough night for us.
Right, fair enough. Just very quickly, Ian Curry says, Philly, why don't you do a live stream tomorrow? Since we've dismantled the studio, All right, we don't really have the facility to do that. However, I know somebody who will be doing a live stream tomorrow, and that's the Mad Mistake, who's the master at it. So get on to Terry's channel, the Mad Mistake, down there, and he'll do it. Everybody goes there and watches it. That's a great watch. And don't forget, of course, to subscribe to Terry. We want Terry to get up to this. He's closing in on 14,000 subscribers now. So let's, if you've not already subscribed to Terry, the Mad Mistake, get yourself on there and do that. Don't forget, hit the like button for us. We're on 67. We'd like to hit 100 before the end of this stream, if you could. I'll take a second. And don't forget, subscribe to us if you haven't done so already. It is free, and we'll take you just a minute to do so. What about a standout performer then from Friday night on that team performance? Young Jack?
Like I said before, I think there was only really Clark who I thought had a power game. But for me, there was 4 players who stood out in particular. I thought Stewart up front worked so hard for his goal. Obviously, nearly messed it up, didn't he? I think the keeper was just massive, really, but scored in the end. Could have potentially had another one, I think, later on if he'd sort of, his decision-making was a little bit quicker. Evans as well. Praised him in the Morton game, criticised him for a long period of time, but I thought Evans just sort of sat in front of that back four really well. But in particular for me, Barton Wright is the 2 centre-halves who like a brick wall. Absolutely nothing got past them. I don't think Wednesday were particularly sort of creative going forward. It was a lot of aimless punts in the box, but just absolutely everything that came their way they dealt with. I'll slightly nudge it and say Bailey Wright, because I thought he did a slight bit more, but I think for me those 4 were all absolutely excellent. In particular, Wright and Bard, I just thought they were outstanding, really.
Right, fair enough. Terry, yourself, Starman?
Yeah, I'm going to give it to Evans, the same as I did against Morecambe. I thought he's improved leaps and bounds under Alex Neil, and since he's got his fitness, which comes in hand, the fitter you get, the better he should play, and he's coming to his own now, looking more like a captain than he has done any point of the season. And I thought Bailey Wright, and I thought Gooch, for me, were the 3 standout players, so I'll give it to Evans.
Right, fair enough. Jack Shields, star performer?
I thought Bailey Wright was excellent at the back. He was absolute man-mountain. Corey Evans was industrious in midfield. I think he's come on leaps and bounds the last few weeks. The last month or two, he's been phenomenal in our run. But I like Patrick Roberts as well. I thought Roberts did well. I thought he was really he caused them problems all game. So I'll probably give it to him. I thought he was unlucky not to score as well when he took on a couple and cut in from the right. And I think he got a deflection over the bar that would have been great if that could have gone in. I'll give it to Patrick Roberts, but you could have given it to 5 or 6, as Jack said. There was nobody really had a real poor game.
Right, okay. Yeah, quite. I mean, Evans was decent. I quite like Roberts. I thought Roberts was quite good, but there was a few of them were pretty good, really. Ian Curry says Clark needs to cross the ball more. Ian Davies, good luck, lads. See you all in sunny Shrewsbury next season. Ian saying things like that. Ian Wilkinson says Evans for me. 09 was awful. I don't think 09 was as bad as people are making out, to be honest. But again, I always seem to watch a different game from everybody else. I mean, 2,000 fans were taken down there. They had 2,000 coming up here. 2 great clubs could have easily taken 5, 6, 7,000. Us down there, them up here. Your thoughts on whoever wins the game between us goes up? At least, I mean, they deserve to go up. The winners of these, I mean, are the ones who deserve to go up. Do you think, Terry, the winners of this game, the ones who go up?
You can't count your chickens, can you? Simple as. Because, Wickham, when that season when COVID first kicked in, they got into the playoffs and they got promoted that season. So Wickham under Gareth Ainsworth always going to be a difficult match regardless. They've been there, they've got previous, they've done it before, so they've got the experience. So, this is a tough match. Sheffield Wednesday, fantastic club, great supporters, and brilliant home record. So the winner of this leg, just have a great opportunity, but it's 50-50 to me. End of the day, you've got to start all over again at Wembley and take that game as it comes, but let's get through there first. I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to count me chickens just yet because we're not there. but we've got 90 minutes. We're halfway there. And if the team performs within 5% of what they did on Friday night, I'm sure we'll be there.
Right. Jack Shields, winners of this game tomorrow, they're the ones who deserve to go up, do you think?
I don't know, because, like you say, if you say deserve to go up, and I know what you mean, Phil, but I think, we're kind of getting down the big, there's not arrogant, bigger club deserves to go up, argument. I think really whoever wins and goes up, you could argue they've deserved it. They've had 46 games and then 3 tough playoff games, whoever it is that does it. I think Wycombe will be a difficult game if we get through in the final, but on a bigger pitch, Wembley, I think if we can get the ball moving, I think Wycombe are really, really good at home. But I think away from home and, on a neutral pitch, they might not be as strong. So I don't know. There's a lot of things to go into. I think we just need to make sure we get ourselves to the final. And then whoever it is, if we do get there, just go for it.
Just very quickly, back to the chat, Ian. Ian Curry says, BBC Radio Sheffield say they'll stuff us on Monday night. According to them, we were lucky on Friday. To be honest, when I went to work later that night, we had some Sheffield Wednesday fans came in and they were confident that they were going to do us on Monday. That's they thought was lucky as well. Unbelievable, really. Young Jack, whoever wins tomorrow night, the team will deserve to go up. I mean, just very quickly, for me, I think the winners, if we get beat off Sheffield Wednesday, I'll say good luck to Sheffield Wednesday. I'd rather them go up. They're a big club, really. Jack?
Yes,
for me, the team that deserves to go up is the team that wins in 90 minutes over Wembley, isn't it, really? But I know what you're saying. I think it's again, if Sheffield Wednesday beat us tomorrow night and they go on to the final, I would personally rather them beat Wycombe or MK Dons, because it's just sort of nicer, I think, to see a club that historically is performing below its standards to then return. But like I say, the team that deserves to go up is just the team that does it. I do feel like the winner of this leg could have a slight advantage. I don't know. I just think Wycombe, in terms of quality, don't have a great deal. I think they're sort of very tactical, aware. They've got a real strong home advantage. But at Wembley, I know they went up in the playoffs before, but I feel like firstly the crowd advantage. The winner of our game is going to have a massive crowd advantage over either Wycombe or MK Dons. And secondly, I think Wycombe's style with them sort of being so defensive and just sort of trying, if anything, just sort of slow the game down, foul, and make it harder for the team. That's hard to do at Wembley with the size of the pitch. So I think the winner of our game may have a slight advantage in terms of the overpowering fan numbers. But for me, like I say, the team that deserves to go up, wins at Wembley, don't they?
Did anybody see the interviews on Sky Sports before the game on Friday night? The Newcastle reporter, what do you call him again?
Keith Downey.
Keith Downey. I was laughing. He was on about two massive clubs being down here for years, and I was thinking Sheffield Wednesday been down here for 1 year. Do you do any homework or what? I was thinking, what are you talking about, man? Proves he doesn't even come to the northeast way. Sunderland part of the northeast.
Terry, he couldn't even get himself to the Fitting Academy alight, could he, on transfer deadline day?
Exactly.
Adrak Millerman, so obviously a Rotherham fan down there, says, you've done the first bits, and get down there and finish it. I predicted months ago you'd go with us. Good luck. Thanks very much to you, the Rotherham fan, for that. Mick Griffith says, I've got a feeling MK Dons are going to take to extra time tonight. Alan Rowland, our friend who joined us on our day out down to Bolton, says weakest link probably is Clark at 09. Mad Max doesn't think MK is out of it yet. Emma, friend of the show, says one thing tomorrow, just don't want extra time and penalties. My heart and nails couldn't take it. Right, okay then. Couple of things. These 2,000 fans, which I do believe was agreed at the start of the season, was it, amongst all the clubs. I've heard it described as shithousery, which is a word I like. The 2,000 away fans going to MK Dons tonight from Wycombe are going to be split into 1,000 either side the goal, and they're going to keep behind the goal empty in case it goes to penalties. Do you think MK Dons are being twats doing that, Terry?
No, not really. I think it's up to them what they want to do. It's their stadium. If they're, if that, I honestly, again, I don't give a shit. I couldn't give a shit what happens with MK Dons at home if they can do whatever they want. Wickham have got a lot of criticism in the past for sneaking into the playoffs over like Peterborough and that. So why should we even really feel sorry for Wickham? I don't feel sorry for Wickham at all. Do you feel sorry for Wickham, like Phil?
I didn't mind Wickham going up the way they did, because at the end of the day, that's how it worked out. They had a good start.
Didn't bother me either. It seems I'm not bothered at night. What they do with the fans can put them into four corners if they want on every corner flag.
Right, but if we did that, would you not have any qualms with us doing that as well? If we
but we would never do that, would we? Let's face it. I was stuck up in the heavens because they're up in the heavens. Why would we do anything stupid like that? It's pretty.
Jack Shields, your thoughts on that? On them doing that?
Yeah, no problem. To be fair, I think you want to give yourself the best advantage, don't you? Do you know what I mean? And if they think that'll help them, if the team thinks that'll help them, get through the final, if they think it'll give them any sort of advantage, you have to be partisan. You have to, at the end of the day, we're not in here to mess about, are we? We're in here because one of these four teams is going to get promoted, and ultimately we wanted to be Sunderland, and their respective teams wanted to be them. And it might come down to small little margins like that, and anything that's going to give them an advantage. I saw people criticising the fact that we're only getting 2,000 tomorrow, and we only gave Sheffield Wednesday 2,000 on Friday. But if it helped us on create better atmosphere at the stadium on Friday, then you know what I mean. I'm all for it. Whatever gives your team the best possible chance of getting through, and completely understand it. Like you say, we're all here to get promotion. We're not messing about.
The only thing I don't quite understand is why the games are so close together when it's like a week and a half to Wembley. So I don't quite get that. I know it might play into our hands, it might not, but I just don't understand that at all.
Unless I also give fans the best chance to get sorted for Wembley afterwards. Give it a good, the best possible amount of time to get to hotels and trains and things booked. I don't know if that's the thinking, because we're in front of everything else, aren't we? I also
don't think it makes a lot of sense when you've got a Saturday over this weekend to have a single game. And then I think typically, historically, you always have sort of one playoff final in the afternoon, then one towards the evening on the Saturday, and then you have one either on the Tuesday after or the Thursday before. And I just think surely that just sort of adds up a little bit more. And I agree with Terry. Really,
I like the idea. I like the idea that they've got them done and out of the way. And I don't know if I know it doesn't make sense because we're League One, but I don't know if the World Cup has got a knock-on effect to all this, because everything's going to be starting a bit early, and then there's that break in November, December. Why that? But I like the way it's done.
For me, maybe it should have been Tuesday night. In hindsight, beforehand, should have been maybe Monday, Tuesday, right way. Or planned it better, so like it's a Saturday, Sunday, like Jack says.
I like the way they've done it. On to you, Jack, splitting these fans. I mean, me personally, I think they're being twats doing it. However, if we did it, I'd be saying, good gameplay. So that's how it is, isn't it? Jack, your thoughts on that?
Well, precisely. I mean, all sets of fan bases want to see the teams go up, and all of their clubs, there's a lot of financial gain in terms of going up. It's if Wickham or MK Dons get promoted, for example, this season, that is a massive, really success for their club to achieve Championship football. And as for us in Sheffield Wednesday, we're absolutely desperate to get out of the third division, because we know that typically, we don't really belong here. It's probably going to give it a slight advantage to MK Dons. I mean, their home support's awful. They've got that massive empty stadium when they went in it. So if Wickham come and they've got 2,000 fans all crammed in the same bit off the back of a 2-0 win, their atmosphere could absolutely silence MK Dons. MK Dons think that by splitting them up, they might just sort of create a bit more of a level playing field. I mean, look, people criticise us for putting them up all the way at the top, and I do think that if we put them literally just below in the north stand or one of the corners, it would probably make for a better atmosphere as well. Every team's gonna have these sort of little sly tactics to gain an advantage, because it just means so much. So I can kind of see what you're saying, but personally, I just think for MK Dons, it could give them a massive advantage, and it could literally be the deciding factor. You never know in them getting promoted or not.
All right, Terry, you was one then.
Yeah, I mean, Philly calling MK Dons twats. I'm sure they're really upset about that. I'm sure they're not bothered what anybody says about them. I mean, I get called all sorts of names. It's like water for ducks back. Water off a duck's back. You know, I'm not particularly bothered. I don't think MK Dons will be bothered at all.
Right. Just very quickly, nice one, Terry. Ian Davis on the chat says, love watching and listening to you, lads. Wish we had the same platform. But we keep going. Come on, you shrews. And he says, sorry to Jack.
Apology accepted. I don't mind it, really.
There you go. Just very quickly then, I wanted to mention about there was people saying that there were problems at the ticket office for, I mean, we were trying to get over 45,000 and people who didn't have an account and apparently wanted to set up a new account we're having issues doing that. So I saw a couple of people saying I'm going to have to watch it on the telly. They wanted to buy a ticket, but couldn't because of that. I just hope if we get to Wembley that we don't have any more sort of problems like that with, you know, the penny pinching ticket office. All this Sheffield Wednesday tickets, having to pick them up yourself. They won't post them out. What are your thoughts on that, Jack Shields? I mean, you don't live near the ground.
I think the account thing, Phil, I think that might have been to stop Sheffield Wednesday supporters buying tickets in the Sunderland end, because I think what they do nowadays is if they know that, you know, they get word that you're going to, you know, opposition fans are going to be buying tickets in the home end, then make sure you've got a purchase history. You've got like an account and a purchase history with Sunderland. So I think them doing that's probably wasn't to stop Sunderland fans going. It was probably because they didn't want Sheffield Wednesday supporters that couldn't get away tickets in the same way that our fans having tomorrow night, buying tickets in the home end. So I think I get it. I understand why they're doing it. I mean, we might be getting a few more in, but I think, you know, whatever. I can understand why the club's done that. You know what I mean? Because ultimately, it would wind you up if you've got a Sheffield Wednesday fan, you know, ahead of a Sunderland supporter in the game. So I think that was the reason behind that.
What about them? You know, you had to collect your ticket either from the ticket. So if you go into Sheffield Wednesday, you had to collect your ticket from the ticket office or down at Sheffield Wednesday when you go down there. Why won't they mail them out?
I don't know if it was a time thing. Would they've got them all out? I mean, I don't know. I don't know the reason for that. Were they worried about not getting them out to people in time? I'm really not sure.
I think a part of it might have been just sort of the turnover, you know, having to then get those tickets out to, you know, post it out to everyone and get them in time for Monday. I mean, that probably would have been doable, but I think that's why they do, because typically, if you want to buy an away ticket and get it posted at your house, you can do it, but I think you just got an extra pay of quid for postage and packaging or something like that. I
think penny pinching at its best myself. I think we knew when that season finished, we were playing Sheffield Wednesday away on that Monday night. You know, you had, there's plenty of time to send them out. Terry, your thoughts on that?
Well, I know a few Sunderland fans who went to the Morecambe game in the home end. So maybe that's Jack's spot on what he says, because there'll be a lot of Sheffield Wednesday fans trying to sneak into the Sunderland end, and you didn't really want that, did you? Because you don't know what's going to happen in that situation. A lot of them will just keep stum and watch the game, but obviously after a few beers, some of them might be a bit rowdy. You don't know, might cause a bit of trouble. So I can clearly understand why the whole Wembley situation will be different, though, won't it? Because the season card holders are priority, and then you'd be able to group your friends together again, like we did last time. If we got to Wembley, I'm presuming that's what you would do.
Just very quickly, Curry, has Dino been sacked? Of course, Dino hasn't been sacked. He's just not available for tonight. But I don't understand. You know, I mean, they have e-tickets and stuff like that now where you can print them out, and you know, and I know it's the Sheffield Wednesday end, you know, but surely, you know, I mean, there's a way. I mean, I wouldn't be happy if I was going down to Sheffield Wednesday and I had to pick me. I mean, you know, I live around the corner from the stadium, so it's irrelevant for me. But I mean, anybody who doesn't, who's having to go to Sheffield Wednesday now, they're going to have to go down there early. There's going to be big queues. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people there, and I reckon there'll be a lot of disgruntled fans having to, you know, having to wait in long queues.
Is our ticket obviously not open early tomorrow morning?
I I mean, our ticket office probably won't even be open on the. I mean,
Well,
our ticket office opens to a day before a game, doesn't it?
But Phil, the VAR extended opening hours this week because they know that there's
whoa! I wonder who's paying the overtime. They're going mad. Honestly, man, it's a joke. Our club with a penny pitching.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, then. Just very quickly, can I have a prediction off you for tomorrow night then, Jack Shields?
I think 1-0 to Sheffield Wednesday, goes to extra time and we beat them on penalties.
Oh dear, God, my heart won't take that. 1-0 Sheffield. We win on pens. Terry?
Play it again, Sam. Same again. 1-0 to Sunderland.
That'd be nice. Young Jack?
2-2 draw, which means that Sunderland then go through 3-2 in aggregate. 2 late goals from Sunderland.
Howard Jack, man. No, man. Can it be 2-0 down?
I know.
Manchester City 5, Newcastle 0. Oh, right.
Somebody said about us we managed to keep a clean sheet. Away goals don't count, so it's all sort of irrelevant. I'm not going to go for 3-1 Sunderland. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I do think we'll score down there. Quite confident of that. And, fingers crossed, hopefully we're going to make it. I don't like to give this guy airtime, but it's been bandied about in the news. William's story. He's got a consortium together, £42 million bid for the club. Your thoughts on it, Terry?
I kind of think it's true, to be honest, because wasn't he at the ground again on Friday night? He was there again, wasn't he? Buying people pints.
He was in the hotel stand, I think.
Doesn't he turn up when it's showtime and stuff like that to heighten his profile?
I don't quite get, if he didn't have any sort of interest at all, why would he waste his time coming up to Sunderland and doing this? I just don't get him if that's the case. So I personally think he may well have a consortium. He may well have all this in the pipeline, but whether we want them at the club is another situation.
I think, to be honest, Terry, I think there's some people in this world caught the limelight, think the celebrities, and want to, any chance they get to jump on it, go, oh, look at me, I'm famous now and all this. And I think he's seen an opportunity there, right? And that's what he does. He does that. He's come up and, I mean, why now? If he's got the club at heart, why now when we're in the middle of these massive games does he start chucking things like that into the works? Jack Shields, your thoughts on it? Fact or fantasy?
Yeah, I think William's story's a moron. Personally, I think he's all about publicity. I don't think he's got any money. Either put an offer in or shut up and go away. Do you know what I mean? All this, I'm putting an offer, and then he turns up, and then I'm here, and he's tweeting, and I just, either put your money where your mouth is and put a bid in, or just bugger off, because he's just annoying, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? He's constantly turning up, and I think you've got to look at the current owners though, and the timing of this. Do you know what I mean? Ahead of the biggest 2 games of the season, then this comes out a couple of days before. You can't tell me that people like, I don't know, Charlie Methven, as Sam and Pants, as Terry called me. You can't tell me he doesn't enjoy winding Sunderland fans up a little bit. You can't tell me he doesn't enjoy it, because, the timing of it, the timing that it's been released and released to the press, be ahead of the biggest 2 games of the season. Pathetic.
Yeah, definitely. Jack, your thoughts on it? Fact or fiction? What do you think? Is it all fantasy, all this, or what?
I think what Terry said was, I'm leaning towards that. Really, I didn't really have any thoughts on it, to be honest. It went straight over my head. But what Terry mentioned there, I mean, if he's coming up to Sunderland, and I know he's supposed to have a lot of money, but even still, going out his way to go and buy fans drinks and come to games and whatever, he probably does have an interest in taking the club over. But to be honest, I don't know. I let it go over my head. I'm not really bothered. It's just a pointless discussion, I think, because it's just never going to happen, is it?
Jack Shields? Do
you know the drink? His company, that drink. Has anyone ever seen that drink or ever bought it? Because he meant it for a drink. There
was a few Sunderland fans on Twitter, I think, sort of the last time he seemed as if a takeover was imminent, all ordering his drink and tagging him in it and going, oh, he's retweeted it. But I think that's it, really.
Yeah, I think.
Do you know what I'll do, right? Sorry, if I won the 180 million on the Euros on Tuesday night, I'll go and knock on Simon Panzer's door and give him 10 million for those 5% shares straight away.
Yeah. The thing is, I mean, you're saying, you know, he's got money. I don't think he has money. I mean, people have delved into his finances, and yes, you know, fair play saying it's a consortium. You know, you get together and they're the money people, but I just think the guy's got no credibility.
He has no money. We all know he has no money, but it depends who he knows with the money, doesn't it?
But even coming in now, right? Does he honestly think that he could tempt them with an offer now, when knowing damn fine that if we get promoted, right, and we're going to the Championship, they're not going to sit back and say, "Oh yeah, 42 million, there you go," because all of a sudden, you know, the club becomes a lot more valuable. Terry?
There's not a cat in hell's chance this bloke's going to own Sunderland Football Club. Like KLD and Sartori, they're the ones that will probably end up buying out the other two Muppets. That's the way it's probably going to go at some point over the close season or next season. This bloke here is just, you know, like I say, he's just blowing smoke out his own arse. I wish him all the best in his life. Probably a canny bloke to talk to, have a pint with, but that's as far as it goes for me. I mean, I want KLD to own 100% of the club.
Right, fair enough. Terry, tomorrow night, have you got your whiteboard?
Yeah, I do, but the questions I want to ask you three is because the predictability of Alex Neil is that every single match he changes the side. Never had the same side twice, I don't think. So why would he change a winning theme? So would you keep the same team or would you change it?
Hang on, let me get you all
Oh,
hang on. Oh, I don't like that at all. Let me get you in there. Christ, why won't I swap over? There you go.
So there we go. That's the team. That's the team that played on Friday night, I do think. So would you just keep it exactly the same, or would you change something for the Sheffield Wednesday away leg at Hillsborough?
I would just make the one change. I would Embleton for Clark. That would be the change I would bring in. Elliot Embleton in place of Jack Clark. That would be the only change I would make.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense.
I think that's the first suggestion. I just thought Clark was just so poor on Friday night. I think apart from the one goal against Fleetwood and the one cross against Rotherham, he's played so many games, had the ball so many times, and just been so wasteful with it. So for me, I kind of see how it keeps getting the team. When we were making the substitutions, I thought it was absolutely baffling how he brought Roberts off and Clark stayed on the pitch. I just couldn't get my head around in the slightest.
You don't know whether Roberts has picked up a bit of a knock. You don't know whether he's not fit enough to last the 90 minutes. And Clark, as a fitter individual, you're not quite sure. But do you think he would start Jay over Luke O'Neill or keep Luke O'Neill?
See, for me, it's that thing where, you know, I hate changing a winning team. However, I'd love Embleton, and I think Embleton is you know, a key factor. So, you know,
he might bring Matete back in. I wouldn't be surprised if Matete is back on Monday night. I mean, like Terry's touched on, like Alex Neil's changed it up a lot. I wouldn't be surprised to see Matete back just to see him kind of harrying, harassing, putting his foot in, breaking up their play in the middle. Because I think they'll be better. They'll be better tomorrow night. They'll be more on the ball. I think that they'll be much better than they were on Friday.
Do you think he'll change the back line or go back to a back five rather than a back four?
No, see, I don't always mind changing a winning team, but I feel like sometimes when you get a defence, you've got to sort of try and keep your defence as similar as you can. And I just thought it was so strong. You know, Evanson just sat in front of Barton, right? I know Evans was part of the midfield, but it was just so strong. It just worked really well. I think the communication was really strong, looked really organised. So I wouldn't really want us to change the defence.
Can I just say, I know this is so wrong, but I couldn't help thinking it on Friday, and I know I'll get slated for this, but should we not have put an insignificant player on brought a sub on Friday, and somebody two-footed Barry Bannon and put him out of action for well, it's no, you know what I mean, but
didn't have a kick though, did he? The Sheffield Wednesday fans are giving it the big build-up, and I thought he was shocked. Well, not shocking, but he wasn't involved at all.
Of course,
it wouldn't surprise me if Broadhead's back on the bench on tomorrow night, mind.
Listen, I'll follow that with I'll say I'm only joking. I wouldn't wish that on anybody, but I'm not saying I didn't go through my head, actually.
So does everybody think that Gooch, back there at right back, had his best game this season?
He's played well. He's been in form the last few games,
I think Gooch has been great over the last 3 or 4 games, to be honest. He's and fair play to him, because, you know, he gets some stick and you know, it can knock your confidence when you're like that. So, you know, like I said, fair play to him.
I think Gooch has been one of our best players last sort of 5 or 6 games after, let's be fair, quite a disappointing season. I think he gets a bit complacent sometimes. If he plays sort of really well and he scores a few goals and everything's going sort of as happy as can be, I think he gets a bit complacent. Not lazy. I just think he starts sort of doing things that are sort of above his station, really, and that's when he then gets into bad form and it takes him ages to get into good form. But I think when he's just sort of on a level, sort of playing in a way that's simple, when he keeps things simple, he plays really well, and that's for me what he's done these last few games.
Right. And when you've got likes of Bart and Wright so solid at the back, it's probably better with a flat back 4. You've actually got 2 centre backs that actually perform well, and with Evans just in front, much more solid on Friday.
I mean, it's not that I'm comparing us to Liverpool, but obviously Liverpool's got Van Dijk and Konate or Matip. It's, you know, 2 of the strongest centre half, one of the strongest centre halves pairing in the country, really, well, in the world. You know, and that allows Alexander-Arnold and Robertson, who are actually playing fullbacks, to play basically as wingers at times that can get that far up the pitch. I'm not comparing us to Liverpool, but, you know, that's sometimes you've got 2 centre halves that are so good you can do that. Right,
okay, just very quick. Let's wrap it up because we're out of time, and the only reason I was going on early is because the MK Dons Wickham game is just kicking off now. In a word, MK Dons or Wickham, who do you want? Jack Shields?
Well, I would prefer Wickham, and I think Wickham will do it. So yeah, I'll say Wickham.
Terry?
Do you know what? I thought I prefer Wickham, but after watching MK Dons on the other day, I'll be cheering on MK Dons tonight.
Right, Jack?
Wickham Wanderers Football Club.
There you go. Right, listen, thanks for tuning in. We've got the 100 likes we like to get. We will be back on Thursday, hopefully discussing a trip to Wembley. Jack and Jack, the 2 Jacks, give us a shout. Give them a shout for us tomorrow when you're down there. We'll be down at Wincy's Tavern, having a drink down there. Yes, Terry.
I'm trying to point to the 2 J's. JJ. There they are, JJ's.
JJ Cochin.
Well, never mind. So that just about wraps it up from us. Jack, do you just want to say those immortal words?
Yes, see you later, lads and lasses.
And young Jack?
I've not got any immortal words, but thank you everyone for watching, and hopefully next time we're back, we're previewing a playoff final.
And Terry?
Yes, hopefully you're going to be enjoying the match tomorrow night. Take care. See you later.
Don't forget to tune in. The Mad Mistake. You'll get full commentary of the game there tomorrow night. And don't forget to please like, share, and subscribe. And if you are a member of our channel, you will see your name in the credits at the end. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon. Thanks a lot, and Ms. Gal.
Ms. Gal.